Sales thought experiment, Jeremy. What if today you had to be an effective salesperson, but you could only contact 10 new prospects? The question today is not what would you say? What I'm most interested to find out is how would you determine the 10 prospects most worthy of your outreach?
Isn't that just due to, list building at this point?
Yeah, if you're figuring out who to contact, that's certainly a list building discussion. But how many list builders are sitting there with that kind of parameter around who can they reach out to? I think there's two things that are true here. One is you're listening, you're never going to be restrained to contact 10 people a day. But I think this conversation, number two, will lead to a better way to prioritize your existing list, no matter how large it is.
Yeah. And for me, I think I'd like to add on top of that, because I think it all comes from a story that we were talking before the cast. What I'd like to also is the quality of the channel we are contacting that person on. So is it the same quality if I'm contacting you on Instagram, on Facebook, on phone, or on email, LinkedIn, whatever?
Right. Because at a lower volume, you're allowed to do, you're able to afford to do more high touch things that are just difficult to scale, right? Like a good cold call.
Yeah. Maybe as a basic, I could also, as a base, whatever. I can probably also talk about the reason why Jack and I are thinking about this cast is we were starting about a conversation about how much receiving a phone call actually meant much more than I thought to me when, I had some problems last year and someone reached out to me by phone call and it still stuck with me. And I'm a European, so for me, it's not that, usual that we get on the phone, but it stuck with me. And I thought, maybe in cold outreach, there's something here as well.
But the problem is, if you just think traditional cold calling, it's, at its worst form, in the 90s, they would go to the phone book and just dial A through Z, right? But today, I think we're having data at our fingertips that allows us to be strategic about if we do those channels, which prospects get the high touch. Now, Jeremy, maybe you want to throw 10 minutes on because I think we're about to unravel why you do that. Quickmail.com gives you the cold email and frankly, cold outreach infrastructure that the pros use to close sales. And salesbread.com will bring you one lead a day if you'd rather let the pros do it for you. Okay. Here we are, Jeremy. So how do you find 10 people that are worthy of, let's say, a call from you?
That's interesting. So I think I'll throw that back to you because I think I'd like to talk to the other side as a recipient. Like, for example, Jack, if you receive like a phone call from a CEO versus an email from a CEO, I think these days versus a year or like 5 years ago is a huge difference. And I think that
meaning
plays a key
if you
role.
get an email from a CEO,
These
know
days
it's not
means
from
nothing.
a CEO.
Yeah. It's so much automation that it means nothing. Where if someone actually do spend the time to phone me, I'll listen. If, put it, it's on a cast, right? If you put up this episode and we're still in the year 2025, because I don't want to be, bounded for the rest of my life. Yeah, exactly. Phone me. And of course, I'll give you some shit for, finding my number. But if you reach out to me, I'll probably give you a chance to explain yourself, in 30 seconds or whatever. By email, not so much.
Okay, cool.
What about you?
So, am I receptive to a CEO cold call?
Yeah.
Honestly,
More than
I'm
email.
not. Honestly, I'm not. Less than email. Yeah, I'm pretty allergic to the cold call. I might be a bad example here. You should check my voicemail mailbox count, but yeah, it wouldn't work on me. It wouldn't break through. Yeah.
That's another good point. Like, what about voicemail? That's true. We don't have to reach out to someone. Like, would you actually spend the time if this is like a 10, 15 minutes pitch on the voicemail? Where
Mhm.
would you actually spend more attention, to listen to the voicemail or to read an email?
How long is the pitch? 10, 15 seconds.
10, 15 seconds.
Okay, I thought you said minutes. Okay. Yeah.
Voicemail is full.
Um, hmm Honestly, no, I'm going email instead of voicemail.
Okay.
Um, but again, I'm worried we're getting a little bit
Sidetracked.
more into my phone answering habits as opposed to like, some sales insights here. So if I needed to like reach out to 10 people, I'm gonna have to get a lot smarter than just the basic list building parameters, industry, company size, job title. That is not going to cut it at volume equals
Yep.
10. Okay, so what do you do instead? Um, I love to keep in mind this, like if we go back, I don't know, they're still doing it today, but when I'm thinking direct mail, Jeremy, I always mentally go back 20 years, in the 90s, or let's go back 25 years. We're getting old. Um, you had the choice to buy two kinds of lists. You could buy the lists that had kind of like the demographic details, age, zip code, etc., or you have the response list. And these are individuals that have made a purchase before. The response lists are more
Yep.
expensive by tenfold, but they're also way more effective. So today, Jeremy, I would want to use the equivalent of a response list. I want to see companies that have, quote unquote, to borrow Perry Marshall's term, rack the shotgun.
Hmm.
I think
How
you're on
would
the
you
same
do
page
that?
there.
Yeah.
How would I do that?
Hmm. I mean,
So it
obviously,
depends
there's
what
an
we're selling. There's
yeah, yeah,
different.
yeah.
Mhm.
If this is for example, this is not necessarily, I don't know. Like I'm thinking, like where my mind is going is if you buy, I don't know, an agency for something design, and then they have kind of connection with other agencies that provide different services, that they could
Mhm.
potentially sell this list. But I don't know if it's,
That's okay.
ethical or great, or like it's probably like some
Yeah.
data privacy kind of problems with this type
Well,
of
look,
approach.
I mean, if we take a step back, there are plenty of response lists that you can buy. Some are better than others. I'll give you a bad example. Right now, Zoom Info, Bombora, Apollo, LeadSip, they're all selling intent data. I don't think it's worth very much. I think it's like pretty
Interesting.
crappy. I'm
Okay.
yet to speak to a sales team that's like, yes, we buy intent data and it's awesome. Like most of the time, it's slightly, it doesn't move the needle compared to a list with the industry, company size, job title. But this is the theory. They have clicked on an ad, visited a web page of a certain topic, and they're showing you an account that's done that. Kind of a response list. But let me give you one that's like been used, let's say in a client example.
Hmm.
Imagine your design shop, Jeremy. Um, I had a client that would basically like scrape Upwork job requests for design. And then they would like basically pay someone to research all the posts that came up. And occasionally there was like company data that was either unintentionally or intentionally included in the job post because Upwork naturally hides who's buying. And they would build lists every day of companies in the market for designers through
Mm.
like kind of like mining Upwork stuff. Again, looking for like sneaky stuff. Like, we're an app company in the biometric space. We do a lot of gluten testing results for people that are gluten sensitive. And there's only like four companies there. And so like they would be able to say like, oh, and they signed it Anna, and Anna is the founder of this. Right. So you have to be
Yeah,
like a spy, but that was a response list and it worked awesome for them. You know,
that makes sense.
it's yeah. So if I'm a design shop, that's going to be the 10 companies a day that get a cold call, that get cold outreach from me. I don't know if that's exactly what you were looking for when you phrased the question, Jeremy.
No, but I think it's complementary. Meaning, once you got those 10 people, you're not just going to treat them as you would treat, the 100 people you would get, to email. So, what are
Right.
some of the most expensive things that you can show? I think it's linked because basically, when you do something that is expensive in terms of time, like I'm
Yeah.
giving you a lot of time to be able to, to speak to you, and that's why
Right.
I referred the phone because right now is not that's the best way we can figure out like this was not really automated and we can have like a proper conversation. So the question is like, what is the richest channel in terms of time, dedication, or sacrifice that you can show to your prospect? Because you only have like 10 to contact every day, right? So of course,
Right.
until now we were talking about personalization. That's great, but personalization could also be like so much
Okay.
automated. It doesn't
That's
mean much
that's
anymore.
true. The most expensive channel is in person. Knock on the damn door,
Yeah,
right?
that's true. That's a good one. Okay. And like if your market is worldwide, that make it like so much harder, of course, because I'm not gonna book a
Yeah,
ticket, a
well,
return
then
ticket for one day.
that's okay. You would put parameters around the closest city to you,
That's
and you
right.
would have to prospect there and there alone, right?
That's
It's
right.
it's harder. The list is smaller, but look, how many businesses are you going to be able to visit in a day? You only need 10 would be too much in person,
That's
like
right.
frankly. But besides in person, you have phone. And besides phone, I think the third step down is a personalized video. That's losing its power because AI is now able to do what is it called? Deepfake?
Yeah, yeah, those sort
Yeah.
of things. Yeah.
And I hate that. I don't know, Jeremy, but unlike a cold email, I feel like if it's my face, my lips moving, and I say hi Anna, and I didn't say hi Anna, that feels grosser than if
It's
I
only
had
you. It,
placeholder.
it's
You
only
think
you,
so?
Jack. Yeah. No, but the thing about the video, like I don't mind too much, but the thing about the video is like it sounds fake anyway. It doesn't matter what you're saying in that video, it's forced. Like it's too much stage. So actually one thing that one of my friends is doing super well is he actually doing those outreach but on his phone. Like he's walking and he actually sometimes send me some video talks. And I always give him shit because like, dude, I'm like, I can't watch right now. I can read, but I can't watch. He say, oh, but that's not urgent, whatever. But I think it's a good way of like, outreaching to people as well, because you got your phone here. You're like, you're saying like quickly, like as you're working, it's like, hey Jack, just wanted to follow up on my email. I thought like, what you're doing is really awesome. I would love to participate in any
Right.
type of or explore some stuff we could do together. I think my audience would really benefit from you and maybe vice
Yeah.
versa. I'd love to find something that works. Would you be open like to a 5 minute talk or like discuss of a few options I have in mind?
Nice.
Boom.
Yeah, that's
Something like that. And when you do it like that, that's okay. If you do it like we do it like in the studio and I'm recording one video after another, I don't know. It
it
doesn't
comes
like,
across as candid. So, and
yeah.
what channel is this person delivering is it a voicemail or a video?
It's a video,
Right.
and it delivers it usually on instant messengers.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
So I don't know, WhatsApp, whatever type of app we can think of that does that.
Okay. Um, so basically, I mean, any channel that takes video would allow
Yeah,
it, right?
I think it would work as well potentially. I think LinkedIn also has some videos. I mean, it
Yeah, you have
definitely
like
has
voice
some
notes.
voice.
Mhm.
Yeah, so voice may actually work. Where my mind is going. You could actually just have like an ambient background, like birds, cars rolling and stuff like that, and just keep on rolling, recording at home. But I don't know.
But there's something about like the organic style recording that shows they're a human reaching
They're
out to a
spending the
human, right?
time. Yeah.
So what's interesting, Jeremy, let's go a step away. Let's do a little tangent. Um, I was speaking to a founder who has an app. They said like their most profitable ad campaign was not influencers on Instagram with 1 million followers. They said they have like 10x the results by finding people with 1,000 followers and just getting micro campaigns going because and like this was the point. They said the big like the influencers have lost credibility because they're pitching so many crap products.
Yeah,
So
and I
I
can vouch
wonder
for that.
if that ties into the fact that the CEO signing an email no longer carries weight, right? Like we want a more human approach as opposed to something so polished. Is that why the hey, I'm walking around and doing a very
Yeah,
quick?
less rehearsed,
Mm-hmm,
less scripted. People
less
want to,
scripted.
get raw stuff, right?
Yeah.
Um, But I don't agree with the CEO stuff. Like I think the CEO stuff is still more powerful because he's the one who can actually make things work. Like you don't have to talk to, third layer that only can do X and Y and doesn't have
Yeah.
necessarily the strategical vision or whatever. So depends on who you're trying to sell to. But I don't have a problem with the CEO. I have a problem with automation stuff because we know that automation stuff, it's automatically lower in value. It's like made in China, like, in the 80s or
Yeah.
whatever. It's just like, oh,
Correct.
there's no quality here.
Correct. Okay, so how do we do? I mean, like if we just kind of wrap, um, we have discussed signals, like kind of that response list, and we've also shared what channels we might use. Is anything else that we didn't cover that may help someone out in terms of like just shocking a prospect into taking a meeting, essentially?
Yeah, I throw back the question at you, but I think for actionable stuff, like find 10 of your most valuable prospect for next week, shoot them like a video from your phone,
Yeah,
while you're walking outside to your grocery, walking the dog, whatever you're doing
yeah,
outside, that makes them feel like you're thinking about them in an
yeah.
unscripted way and giving them your time as a value currency. And then try to
I
then
like that.
actually automate the outreach, not necessarily the video.
Mm-hmm. I'll end with an action item on my side. So pay attention to two things here. If you've been sending cold email and you've noticed that an account has opened a single email something like 7, 8, 9, 10 times, it's probably because they forwarded internally.
Hmm.
That account may deserve this high touch. Ditto for someone that has checked out your LinkedIn profile within 2 hours, right? Like something about what you said or your tagline popped out. I would use that as a prioritization filter so that you're still doing your outreach, but the folks that rock the shotgun get more from you.
Love it.
Cool. Fun.
Oh,
All right.
nice.
Enough said. All right. See ya. Good
Thanks. Bye,
outro.
everyone.
You got it.